I'm back. I'm back. How is everyone doing? Hope everyone had a great weekend so far. It's a nice Sunday night here in Chicago. Left off last time, we got about halfway through this little Wonder Woman piece, so we're going to hop back on the train and see what we can do to finish this up. I got a couple of you on here. How's the audio? Voice and music and stuff like that? Everything sound okay? Let me know otherwise. So, I've touched this, I lied, I touched this just a little bit since last time we chatted, since last time we streamed. Mostly just to add a little bit of pencils to define and see what was going on. Some of our washes didn't separate as much, so we're going to finalize this armor. Again, not too concerned about the details of this armor yet. Just trying to get the general form of it, and we'll figure the rest out. We're gonna have her arms kind of on her hips, little akimbo, so we're just going to block in the form. The hair is going to be covering a lot of that, and we'll probably have the hair over here as a backup to cut back into the armor as we see fit. How's it going, Josh? Hope you're having a good weekend. We're going to be using some watercolors. Have a Holbein palette here. This is a Holbein palette using the colors that Hayao Miyazaki uses. Just trying to get a better understanding of his palette. We're going to augment that a little bit. I have here a smaller palette. This is sort of my travel palette. It's mostly M-gram, a couple Windsor Newton colors, and a couple Daniel Smith colors. So everything is just kind of set up. This will kind of augment a few tones that I'm just not used to here in the Miyazaki palette. For instance, the Miyazaki palette really doesn't have, it has like one red. Everything else are browns and violets. So, we'll get back into it. Huh? So, let's take a look at where we left off here. We got the light source kind of coming in from the right. We have a little bit of tone in the black, this nice blue sky. I'm going to start working on a few things. We're going to want to darken up some shadows in the hair. We are going to want to accentuate sort of the where we have the yellow light kind of shining in at her. And kind of push the shadows. We have some light kind of coming in off her top right shoulder here as well. So we're going to push back the hair, add some textures, block in a few shapes, and really start to pay attention to some of these shapes that have organically formed and see what we can do to use those to our advantage, or we'll start at this point doing some lifting if there's some areas that we really don't like to use. I'm going to start with a little number 4 Isabi round brush. Right? We're going to grab a little of this vermilion hue. A little of that vermilion hue, and we'll touch it with this Indian yellow, just a little bit to warm it up a bit. And we're going to try to define a little bit more of the color on the nose here. We're going to kind of highlight this sort of triangular area and start darkening some of that stuff up. Along the edges, and start defining the area where the light is going to meet a lot of the shadows, right? That area is going to be a little bit more orange, a little bit more red in them. And we just create some nice smooth washes and just slowly, this is more of a temperature study, right? So focusing on the temperature, I have a little Crimson Lake, which is a cold red that I'm using in this case. And we'll start shifting that back as we go towards the right side of her face, our left. We'll probably have to reshape her lips a little bit. We'll go in with a much smaller brush for that. Looks like we'll have to do a little bit of lifting to shape them well. Right now, kind of just working wet on wet. Right, so I have one small puddle here. That's my cool red, and this little puddle here is my warm. So I'm just going to kind of hop back and forth using both of those to start contouring, I guess is the word, her face. And we're not gonna, I'm starting to shift. Instead of thinking about it in terms of value, I'm thinking about it in terms of temperature. Right? And let's get a little bit of this violet here. Sneak that in. Sneak that in under the eye. Right? And we'll do that on both eyes. The brow ridge should cast a few shadows on that. So I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit on her face, because that's where I'm going to be concentrating for a little while. All right. We're gonna just slowly, this is gonna be a nice, especially with faces, I'm gonna take my time, right? I want these colors to blend nicely. I want to be able to go slow enough to be able to give myself some time to react to what's going on, right? We're having a conversation with our piece right now. In that, sort of for me at this stage, I'm trying to react to what's happening on the page as much as trying to control it, right? It's a little bit of back and forth. This page kind of gives me a little bit, and I kind of work with it, right? It kind of prompts me, and I'm like, okay, let's see what I can do with that. And I give it something to work with and give it some time, and it spits something back at me. I'm going to make this upper lip here a little bit more yellow. Right? My brush is relative, it's just barely damp. Right? There's not too much water on my brush. It's damp enough to kind of pick up sort of some of the leftover colors. That are kind of clinging. They're kind of clinging to my palette, right? So here, my ear kind of got away from me, either in my sketching, or maybe the water drifted and I didn't really pay attention in the early stages, or something to that effect. And so luckily I have some hair, and I'm going to use that to kind of, that darker value that's going to be hiding behind there. I'm going to grab some of this black, grab some of this ultramarine deep, right? And this is black plus ultramarine deep is ivory black. It's going to give us something pretty close to a Payne's gray. Right, we'll mix our own little Payne's gray here, and I'm just going to cut back in and reshape this ear a little bit, right? I'll use a different brush, grab some clean water. And just kind of move that puddle of pigment around. Right. Maybe just for now I'll add some more value to the other side of the face just to balance it off a little bit while I'm working here. Balancing the values. These are the areas where the shadows will probably be the darkest anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. The great part about hair is that it frames the face. Add some of that same color down into the casted shadow on her neck. Go. pull this all around. Alright. I'm gonna grab a little bit of this Payne's Gray and mix it in with some of this violet that I have here. And then we're gonna work in with a smaller brush. Just kind of darken her eyelid. And we don't have to do the whole thing, but just enough to indicate that there's some sort of shadows cast here. I'm going to use a little bit of a burnt umber here. I'm going to use that on the nose. I'm just going to use it on the bridge of her nose and this main part. And again, just trying to help define that color on the nose, right? And then a little bit in the bottom right of her eye. It's all of these little tweaks and adjustments that are gonna culminate in all the wonderful textures and angles and textures that we'll see on her face. And once this orange dries, I'm going to do a thin layer of like a cool color, probably more of a purple or a lilac and something like that, kind of on the other side of the nose, and that'll help create the illusion of sort of that triangle pyramid effect on her nose. You sneaky, sneaky savage. I'm a pretty sneaky savage there, Michael Zhao. How are you doing tonight? How am I being sneaky? Everyone's busy. Everyone's busy doing other things. I don't want to. Don't want to intrude on the party. Where am I at? What's an at? Is that how it works? Is that what you mean? you could be my which I've given you wonderful, amazing, incredible power. But no one to wield it over. I feel like you're the genie of the lamp. Immense, amazing, incredible power. teeny tiny little leaving space. I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Just chilling and trying to finish this this commission. Don't worry, neither do I. No fury regardless. Yeah. I am, just kind of want to see what's going on. Nice, quiet, chilling. Do you have a good weekend, man? Let's see, I'm gonna grab some of this brown and start, just gonna grab this dark sepia color and just start defining some of the wrinkles in her ear. Yeah, I have. I've changed it up a little bit. I've decided to do, I don't know if you know David Mack, who he is, but I've decided to take a little bit more of a David Mack approach to her piece. A David Mack inspired approach. And just kind of, because I like the watercolor piece, but I'm going to also do some ink work on it. Still need to submit my sector check. Sector check? What's a sector check? I'm losing you there. Alright, I'm going to darken up a little bit of the skin tone by the hairline here as well. I think once I get this face down, everything else will come pretty quickly in short order. Oh, nice, man. What are you studying again? Post-secondary program. Nice, man. Just you're going into social service, man. Congratulations. I hope it treats you well too. You'll do very, very well. You got a good soul, man. Good soul. All right, so the warmer side of her face is definitely getting warmer. I'm gonna push back the cool side with, might be a little bit daring here. Let's grab some cerulean blue. Nope, that's not probably not gonna be it. You know what? Let's grab some cerulean blue. Let's touch it with this violet, this Crimson Lake, to kind of give it a little bit of a violet tinge. And then we're going to use right? And we're going to kind of go along with what I said earlier. We're going to create this thin little cool shadow on the other side of the nose with this purple, right? And not only will it hopefully look like a shadow because of the value, but it'll also behave more like a shadow because of the temperature. I love how that sword is turning out. Thank you, man. Thank you. I'm assuming you're double duty on Twitch right now. And then let's push back some of the area beneath the chin here. Just do a nice flat wash. I'm gonna grab a touch of this Davies gray, just to mute a little bit of this color down here, just a touch. And we'll probably smooth out her chin here a little bit. We'll lift some of that color up. To kind of shape her chin a little bit better, but overall it's not so bad. Again, let's grab a little bit of this umber. This is like a private lesson. It is, man. It is. It's just you and me. We're gonna take a look at this little divot in the upper lip that comes out of the center of the nose here. We're going to warm that up, and this outer edge. We're going to take some of these same colors that we're using in the nose, these warm browns and reds, right? And we are going to sneak them into her tiara. Especially when we have either side of the highlight, or wherever we have a highlight, I'm going to put this I think it's burnt umber. Because I want to feel like, you know, that's part of the conversation I'm trying to build. Wherever I have a highlight, we're going to put this color, and I want to reinforce that pattern, and so I'm going to use that color in wherever I have other highlights, right? Just trying to be consistent in our mode of communication. Oh my god, the new Justice League trailer. Yes, I have. I've seen all the trailers. All the trailers are so exciting. I constantly have hope for Justice League. I want to have hope. I want to have Kal-El. Um, I think I wish they didn't hint that Superman was coming back at the very end of that trailer. I think the suits are a little bit, you know, they're trying to make the battle, right? They're trying to do the whole battle for Earth kind of a thing, and so you gotta have them all. Yeah, the ending cliffhanger. I'm just like, come on. You gotta tease that a little bit more. You gotta hold that closer to your chest. You can't just dump it out there in the second trailer for the damn, like, oh. Alright, let's get a little bit of red here and really push some of the warmth and red on the outer edge of her ear. Yeah, not like this. Flash looks pretty cool. Flash looks like he can be a fun character. He has some of that Wally West humor, right? Like you kind of got the whole shtick, you know. Like what's the other trailer that came out? The Kingsman. Like, the Kingsman was a great trailer because it hints at a few things, but I still have no idea what it's about or what's going on. I know they're cowboys. I know that the Kingsmen are in trouble, and what's his face is back with an eye patch. But other than that, I don't quite know what's going on. I don't know who the bad guy is, really. I don't know what the big save the world moment is, really. Everything so far except the helmet. Yeah, but, like, Flash needs to be, like, aerodynamic, like. But I did like this thing. It's like, I don't know how to fight. I just run really fast and push people. I find it also interesting that they've chosen to make him bluish, make all the lightning like blue and cool, instead of like to really differentiate itself from the WB, which is yellow and orange and warm. The blue lightning, is that what you love? The constant hair flips. They are completely rewriting like the Aquaman character. Like they didn't take the noble Arthur kind of twist on it. They're taking the wild cowboy kind of approach, and it's interesting. Like he's like a crazy surfer dude kind of a person. I'm not sure how it's exactly is going to work, but obviously they're completely trying to uh, avoid the I'm Aquaman and I'm a useless character sort of a trope and meme, right? Right, so now I'm going in with a very light wash of blue. And just trying to accentuate all the shadows. The shadow under the eyes, the shadow cast by the nose here. Right, and just kind of get these shapes, the shadow cast under the lips. And it's a very faint blue. And it's sort of cast by the jawline. I gotta accentuate the jawline just a little bit. All right. Wait, he can't breathe in the water now? I don't know enough about Cyborg. His look is cool, but just from the little bit they showed him say, I hope they don't make him just another dark and gloomy like Batman character. Like they gotta give him some personality. Like they just had a little thing where he says like, "Okay, Alfred, I got this now," and he just looks so deadpan and serious, right? Like they can't just make him robotic. They can't make him like Vision. Let's block in a little bit underneath the chin here so it's not so light. And I'm going to do some lifting on this left shoulder. Yeah, like I obviously there's not enough for me to really go on in the trailer. But he isn't like he's in a pretty shitty predicament, right? Like you know, entire body like torn away and all this other stuff, but like he still has his humanity, right? That's his big thing. He's fighting with his humanity. I mean, I don't expect like a Teen Titans Booyah kind of cyborg, but I don't want him to be I'm just a robot. unless they put the spin in the movie like he's always got a plan and this is him putting together his plan, right? And he's the consummate, like, I got a plan A, plan B, plan C, plan Z. But he's not the guy that goes around and brings everyone together, you know? Hey, Artistic, what's up, man? How's it going? Welcome back. Tony No Chill. How you doing, brother? Thanks for dropping by, Artistic. How's your weekend, man? We're talking about all the trailers that came out this weekend. Yeah, so I really... And it's Wonder Woman that has to convince Batman, and it's Wonder Woman that does all this stuff. But I don't know if she could pull that off. Yeah, he's much more of a strategist with what you have. He's not going to, hey everybody, let's get together. Precisely, he's a solo guy. Had to tune in and watch me throw down. Yeah, we're throwing down with this piece right now. Right. He also doesn't trust anybody. Right? Like, there's some crazy storylines with the Justice League and Batman where he does not trust anybody. So, the fact that they have him, and I guess they don't have enough characters yet that can go around and do this. But, like, that's why Marvel is taking forever to kind of pull these heroes together, right? It's not just one movie. All right, let's zoom back out just a little bit because I'm going to start working a little bit more on some of these other areas. They introduce their characters in an awkward-ish way. Yeah, like Wonder Woman's... Like, did they really need to have a Suicide Squad? Couldn't they have used that to make, like, a Cyborg movie? Or an Aquaman movie. Like that movie, just even if it was successful and done well, how does that play into the larger picture of anything? Yeah, they could have done the Teen Titans one, and that could have fit into this, you know, Justice League, Teen Titans. Sort of a thing, you know. They're doing another SS movie. What is that? Super. What does SS stand for? Okay, what are we doing next now? We're gonna do a wash and sort of define the edges of this armored shoulder here, and as well we'll do a quick wash down below here as well, right? Wait, they're doing another Suicide Squad movie next year? What? I did not know they were doing another Suicide Squad movie. Alright, we're gonna get this burnt umber. A little raw umber as well. And well, we're gonna tint it with a little bit of green. We're gonna do a warm green with it. We're gonna add a little bit of a yellow, this Windsor Newton yellow green, and a touch of this phthalocyanine. Right? It's just going to mute. Because a lot of the edges that I'm about to put on here is going to be kind of in the shadow. Just going to kind of use this darkened color. I'm going to grab a few other areas here. There you go. And just trying to create some form, because we need to have some of this stuff, and we're going to add a little bit more blue in here, a little gray, and just darken up this side of things, right? And we'll have some really dark hair behind it all to like really help the edges. Mr. Farting Giraffe. No Twitch stream. Well, I did a I was on Twitch earlier today. Oh, yeah, and instead of... Okay. I streamed on Twitch for about 4.5 hours today. It was a solid stream. You're betraying us, Twitch. I'm not betraying you guys. They're on to us. I'm trying to create content all over the place. I'm digging the music switch. Thanks, man. YouTube's a little bit more particular about their music, so kinda had to. Even when I was using classical music, they were a little bit. Their bots were on to me. Mira looks cool, but again, like, why Mira? Like, first off, Justice League is going to be tough to pull off with the main characters that you're trying to get as a part of Justice League. Now, unless Mira is just a background character, which I don't think so, it just doesn't make sense that you would toss in that extra complexity. You know, to have her in the battle and in the war, so to speak. Like, there are other Justice League characters you can toss in there. You know, or you could focus more time on the characters that you really need to, right? Because that's just going to take screen time. That's just screen time that gets taken away from someone else. So, yeah, that's the part where I'm like, I think it's cool, but you already show a track record, especially with something like Suicide Squad, where you can't handle it. They haven't proven to me that they can handle a movie with 2 strong characters, much less something with like 5. They should have never showed the ending at the jail trip, right? Yes, they shouldn't. That was just dumb. Why would you? You ruined it. Like that could have been like the best secret. Everyone knows they're already coming back, right? They already hinted at it at the end of Batman v Superman, where the dirt starts lifting up. So you already know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. When does Big Blue come back? I'm going to grab some of this green. And we're going to add some green to this armor. I know it sounds weird for gold armor to have green and possibly a little counterintuitive, but it's in there. It's in there. Yeah, just like Doomsday. You know? Like, I have hope for the whole Justice League thing. I really do. You know? But they're just not. You're making it very hard to have that little bit extra faith. Hey, Hakeem Pearson, thank you. Coming back. How do you start larger paintings? Usually you start larger paintings with larger brushes. Kind of the same way. You lay things out, and I'm not kidding too much when you say, all right, Michael. When I say you start with a larger brush, it's watercolor, so water evaporates, and you have to work faster for some of these larger paintings. But you work larger, you work with a larger brush, and then slowly work your way down to smaller brushes. I guess there's no real secret to it. It's just mental preparation, because you know that those larger pieces are just going to take more time. You have to be much more diligent in your approach, because you have to be consistent, right? You can't work one area different than how you work another area. So you have to have a little bit more forethought, right? So in terms of like lighting, like, okay, I'm gonna have to be very consistent with my larger painting, like where my light source is. You have to be even more so. Because of that, it's because in a larger painting you can get lost in an area, right? And be like, oh, I totally forgot my light source was over here, or I totally forgot that I was using this orange for this color, right? And so working up to the larger pieces, just be more diligent. Think through a plan, and remember to kind of stick with it. So I hope that helps a little bit, Hakeem. Sorry about that. I have a little bit of a message. So let's just start with the shadows and cut our way back into the lighter areas. something like that. And let's just worry about framing her face. If we can frame the face well, a lot of the other textures of the hair and everything else should kind of happen okay on its own. Add a little more red here. All right. I'm not going to totally increase all of the red in her armor, right? The highest level of saturation will often be found in the midtones, right? And so that's where, right now, where the light's going to kind of hit the top, you know, of her chest. And just kind of, I'm thinking in terms of creating contour elements and just kind of showing where a lot of the shine, I guess, of the armor is going to be. And as it gets lower, I want it to seem darker, so I don't want to have bright colors everywhere throughout here. I just want it in a few areas, and I'm going to kind of control myself and not go too far. Right? I'm going to get some clean water and just kind of let some of these, just let it kind of drip down, let it fade a little bit, right? I might get a little bit more down here, some darker red, but let's let this dry, because it's going to dry a little bit lighter, so I want to see where it ends up, right? Watercolor always dries a little bit lighter than you expect. Okay. My first problem was using a tiny brush. Tiny brush, you get to work your way large and then go small. Work with a lot of water and then work your way down to a little bit of water, right? So, oh, okay, you got me there. Let us, sometimes it's tough to gauge a little sarcasm. All right. No problem, man. And then I'm gonna grab some orange, some azo orange, and just touch it on this far end. And then on this close end, I will grab some Indian yellow. Wow, this is still very jelly. For some reason, this color here. Oh no, because that is an M-gram color. That's like one of the few M-gram colors on this palette I made as a substitution. So that's just adding some reds and oranges here in the armor as it gets into some of this more drab shadow color. And we're gonna do a thin wash. And we'll come in with some pretty heavy blacks underneath afterwards. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to grab a little bit of a little bit of Indian yellow. And we're going to outline the metal on her brassiere. Sort of the edge, right? And we're going to come back in on, as we're defining that edge, we're going to grab some sepia, mix it in with some ivory black. And we're going to touch the edges of this to really give it some transition from dark to light. And it's going to help that sort of metal effect. And as we get back into the shadows here, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna block out all of this yellow and just shift it into this brown. How are you liking your streaming experience on YouTube? It's quiet, but interested in, the thing with YouTube, I think this is something I just want to experiment with and put some of this stuff up here. Obviously, I'm not broadcasting this out, nor am I, I haven't put it on my Instagram, I haven't put it on my Twitter, I haven't let anyone know I'm doing this. I'm just curious what the general process is that YouTube has, right? And I'm going to spend a couple hours to try to figure it out. And so it's going to be things like the re-watching of these videos is infinitely higher on YouTube than Twitch, right? And so I know that the eyeballs will eventually be there. It's just not the live streaming part, you know, which is a challenge of its own. I still think Twitch is heaps better in terms of community, in terms of interactions and everything else. So I'm not going to stop that. But at sort of this stage in the game, you know, I'm not partnered. If I was partnered, from what I understand, then, you know, I'm only allowed to live stream on Twitch, right? So I'm not yet. So let me figure out what else is going on. Let me see what how these other sites are working, right? It's only going to help me understand and be able to make better decisions in the future. Who knows if Google really wants to, if YouTube really wants to do something, right? Then I'll be a little bit better prepared with how things work here, right? I'll have my stream set up a little bit more. Twitch VODs used to get so many views. Yeah, now they're basically non-existing. So it's definitely just in the moment for Twitch, which is great. You know. So we'll see. I'll probably do this every once in a while. See what's going on. Figure some things out with it. But it's probably to my benefit to get a little better understanding. Right? And this is literally my second stream, live streaming on YouTube, right? I remember my first couple of streams on Twitch. I was pretty empty. I was sitting there talking to myself most of the time. So it kind of brings me back. It kind of re-humbles myself. You know, it kind of makes me realize how far I've come in when it comes to being comfortable in this sort of live streaming world, you know. Hey, welcome back, Artistic. YouTube, Google bought a streaming content site a while ago. Oh, really? And I know they have like a gaming section, and they're trying to do some artists. And for them, artists is music. So they don't really have a creative section, which sucks. But what if one day they did? You know? So I called you out on day one? Yeah, you called me out on day one. Welcome back, Artistic. How you doing? Hopefully you're having a good Sunday. Alright, I am going to... What kind of brush do I want? Do I want this? Maybe. No. All right, we're going to get this arm. Again, I want it to be muted. It's in the background. I'm gonna grab. Let's see. Let's grab a little bit of violet, and let's grab this cool quinacridone green. And this green and this violet are going to give me this nice cool gray, right? And then with this cool gray, I'm going to add a little bit of cool red. Right? I can't remember what color this one is, but it's just and I just want to give this tone here on her bracers. Add in a little bit of the browns and stuff like that. Right, that's going to be sort of the base tone for her bracers. And we'll pull that off the edge of the page and that'll be good. I'll come back a little bit later on to touch up and just poke a little bit of color in here. Beam, I believe it was called. Really? Yeah, I mean, it's definitely lacking that sense of community. But there are some interesting things about it. I do want to learn more. Learn more about what's going on, so you know, they have their sponsors, which is like Twitch subscribers. They have their super chat, which is kind of like you know, the bits and stuff like that. Or Mixer now? Interesting. I'll have to look that up. Beam or Mixer? Microsoft's Beam, renamed to Mixer, adds co-op streaming. The Microsoft-owned live streaming platform integrated into Windows 10, henceforth known as Mixer. This was May 25th, 2017. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Oh, my daughter says my Wonder Woman looks cool. Thank you, Artistic. I'm glad you like it. I think she looks cool too. Did she see the Wonder Woman movie? Did you take her to see the Wonder Woman movie? Fade all this stuff in. Let's get some more flesh tones. Okay. Now it's just getting the hair. It's getting a few darker contrasting points in the metal, and we just kind of work that area over and over, and then we'll touch up the background. We're pretty close. We're pretty close. We're pretty close to a spot where I feel like we can call this done. She picked Despicable Me 3 over Wonder Woman on our last movie night. I was bummed. Oh! Well, hopefully she picks Wonder Woman next time. I'm going to get a little bit of water. I will be right back. Stay tuned. Alright, I'm going to grab and move back to a larger brush. Actually, I'm going to go to this larger flat brush. Right? A little larger flat brush right there. Flat brushes are nice for hair because it's kind of like the calligraphy feel. Easy to get these wide, thin, wide sort of strokes. I'm not going to use straight black. I don't want to use flat black yet for her hair, even though her hair is black, right? I'm going to tint this black a little blue. Maybe with a little cerulean as well, just to really push it. And then just start slowly darkening and when you start layering as much as we are in these areas, don't worry about, preserve the white that you can. Right? Like here, I'm going to preserve that a little bit. But if you don't worry about it. In areas that you have such layered, have enough layers, you can always do some lifting afterwards to kind of get back. You get a thin brush, and if you lift the paint, you'll get back to those lighter colors underneath. So here, I'm going to want to make sure I'm a little bit careful. The hair is going to wrap around this arm. It's going to go right up against the red and gold that we have here. And it's going to help me pop out. that contrast is going to help pop out that red and that gold and stuff like that, right? And as we get to the end, I'll probably switch to a round brush to really get some of the tresses a little bit better. Right, and even here, I'm going to use this black to help chisel into the armor, create some nice edges. Into the armor there. There you go. And along the sword's edge, right? We'll just create a nice little triangle like that. And then on this side as well. Really get this hair is just going to help block in all those lighter colors. Let's use some of these colors here. Just increase the contrast in this armor. Metal, you want high contrast in metal, right? That's how you're going to really make it feel like metal. What do you guys think so far? Looking good? I'm going to let this dry for a second. And I like the orange that's happening in her face and those really warm colors. I'm going to hit those same warm colors with some simple washes in a few areas, especially down here in her chest. A little bit on the outside of the sword and a little bit in this armor there. Just want to really pop those sections out, and then we're going to try to cool down the background a little bit more and create a little more sky, maybe using some grays and things like that to kind of push back these blues so that she'll pop back up forward a little more. Right, you got those warm colors on her, we're pushed back with those muted colors in the background, and that should really, thank you so much, Artistic, really help her pop in one last chance, especially as we get some of those colors on the other side here. My contact's shifting on me real quick, so let me come right back. Thank you, Ono, for subscribing. Be right back. Okay. Let's get see if we can get some cast shadow effect there. Let's see what happens. Okay. Get a little bit of warmth and red into one side, and we'll come back and really get some blues to help create some of this dark lines here. Get a little bit of this yellow and sneak just a little bit of dull yellow into this back bracer here, just a little bit. I want it to kind of stay gray. Maybe if I just use a little bit brown. There we go. Why do I paint light? What do you mean paint light? Like the color of light? I think so. I can interpret that two different ways. One, why do I paint with such light washes? And I usually paint with light washes when you want to build up, right? If you want to have all these layers and all these different shapes and stuff like that, you're going to work with a lot more light washes. And also, if you're not sure how you want to approach the solution of something, You may work a little bit lighter than you might want to, because it still allows you the option to kind of change your mind, right? You can always go in watercolor, you can always go darker, but you can't get back lighter. So if you go dark too fast, then, well, that's it. That's your new dark. The other thing that I think you can potentially mean by that is
Test.
Nice test, potato. Yes, because it's actually the same system. I'm just getting your stuff through Twitch on that one. But nice. The other thing I think you potentially could mean is just when I try to paint the color of light, and so when I say I paint light, I think the most interesting watercolors are when they paint like the color of the light, the color of the thanks Michael. You're hilarious. I don't want an uneven number. Little OCD there, aren't you? So I think light has a color, and even if I'm just painting a figure, we're really painting how the light bounces off that figure or that object and into our eyes. So we're always painting light. I'm just being more focused on the color of the light that I'm painting. It has an impact on the colors I choose and everything else like that. So when you hear me say I'm painting the light, like that's typically what I am attempting to do. Alright, so I'm going to grab some of this ultramarine deep, which is a nice blue color. I'm going to come in here and over this armor, just kind of use this blue as my new black. Blue is the new black. And then let's work our way back up here as well. And all right, so we got those elements there. Let's get a little bit of brown. Let's find some areas where we might want a little bit more separation. And feel free to actually create some lines in here with some color, with some of those pigments, right? adding some additional, trying to strengthen my shadows compared to the areas where the light is kind of coming in, right? Let's get a little bit of this yellow and orange again and just kind of do some light washes. Wonder Woman has blue eyes, I think, man. Risk Artistic, thank you so much. Had to be up for work. Keep it up, man. You got a fan for like, oh, I appreciate it, Artistic. Thank you for watching. Thank you for lurking. Have a great night and enjoy your rest. And we'll grab some of this red and some of this brown, and let's define this edge a little bit more, just so the arm and the chest get some separation here. And we'll do the same thing into the shadows here, right? Now let's think about, let's get some, let's mess around with this violet here. This is an interesting color. I'm going to sneak it in here, sneak it in here. A little bit of an edge. And we'll add a little bit of this red in here just to darken it up. Right? And I'm going to tilt my page so that, actually I could probably work upside down. That's probably what I should do. And we're just going to try to tease and create some gradients in here, right? We're going to work a little bit more diagonally to add some action. And let's sneak in a little bit of orange and yellow as we get higher up. As we get further down, we'll just let the water drip. Just drop a few drops of clean water. And we'll tint some of the blue that we have here with a little bit of yellow. Maybe a little bit on this side as well. And that should just warm up the sky. We're just doing it with a little bit of this cool yellow, right? So even our sky, even though it's yellow, it's a cool yellow. And so that should hopefully give a nice juxtaposition with the warm yellows that are on Wonder Woman. Right? And let's get some light red and work our way down. Just kind of we'll splatter a little bit, make it a little more fun. I should cover her face. Let that splatter happen there. And there you go. You got the light kind of shining a little bit. Let's see if I can shift it so that you can see it without the light. Mojo the Hobo. Yes, it is. We're finishing it up. So last couple of days ago, we were working on this. We only got maybe 60% of the way through, and now we're sort of finishing it up. What do you think? So, what do you think, man? Sweet, looks spectacular. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, so I believe we're pretty close. Let me grab a little more of this violet and purple. Kind of sneak it in to the shadows here. Just kind of playing around with the various. And I think that was this color, I believe. I think it was a cerulean. I'm just going to kind of touch it here and there. It's very wet on wet right now, and we'll see what patterns kind of emerge from this. Some darker. All right, just kind of looking at it, taking it in here. We're gonna let this dry. We've got some nice granulation happening in the background, so not only does the texture differ from the smoothness that we got here on her, so that'll help separate the background from her, but we also have cooler colors in the background, and she overall is a warm color with all the light warm yellows and things like that we've done here. So I believe we're gonna call this pretty much done. Typically what happens now is that I will let this sit for a couple days. It'll probably dry out within a couple hours, but I'll let it sit for a couple days. I'll come back to it a few days from now. Actually, there's one more thing I wanted to do while I talk. I'll probably come back to this a few days from now and see what minor touch-ups are going to happen, right? Because very often colors dry a little bit lighter than you intend them to. You may want to highlight. I may add a little gouache. I might put some highlights in her eyes. So there'll be some small things like that, and maybe I'll add a little bit more specular highlights and scrub and do some lifting here in the armor, right? Create some scratches and dents and things like that. And that's all stuff in sort of that third phase of things that we'll do. But definitely let this sit. We can come in here and add some strands of hair by lifting, right? And those are generally come in a little bit later on. So, there we are. Thank you very much. Feel free to, we're gonna call it a night. It's about 10:30. We started about around 8:30, so about 2 hours. So this piece is about 5 hours or so from start to finish. Feel free to follow me on Instagram. Instagram is instagram.com/Tony_Moy or TonyMoy88 on Facebook and Twitter. If you want more consistent streams, you can also follow me on Twitch, and that's twitch.tv/Tony_Moy. So hope to see you there. I'll probably be back around here and uploading some more videos and whatnot. But hope you all had a great evening. Hope you all had a great weekend, and I hope to see you all soon. All right. So once again, thank you everybody. Have a great Monday, and ciao.